not just the innovation that's going on here, obviously, but the amount of hard work that Canadians are doing to continue to contribute in meaningful ways to our economy, to how we build a better future and how we move forward as a country. So it's a great pleasure to be here. Glad to be here with ministers and with Steve. Happy to take questions.
Hi, Lauren Krugel, Canadian Press. Given the details that Facebook has provided about how they did and did not protect the data of users, what options are you as a government willing to explore to regulate social media platforms beyond changes to the privacy laws? And if you're not interested in doing anything beyond that, why not?
This is a conversation I've had on an ongoing basis since I got elected with Facebook, with leaders in tech platforms. That balance of protecting privacy while ensuring that people are able to live their lives in an increasingly digital way. Obviously, we expect Facebook to take significant measures, as we expect from all platforms, to take significant measures to continue to protect people's privacy, to continue to ensure the protection of our democratic institutions. But that's also something that we're doing as a government. We've tasked our Democratic Institutions Minister over the past years to look into what can be done to safeguard our electoral processes, and that's not just the voting aspect, but it's also communications, advertising, all those things that go around it. We know that there are concerns around foreign interference in elections.
Funny how it's the guy who takes issue with the words mother and father that has fear over foreign interference in Canadian elections. Quite honestly, I believe that if anyone is going to interfere in Canadian elections, it'll be to, for whatever stupid reason they can think of, get Trudeau re-elected.
We need to make sure that we're protecting the integrity of our institutions. Further to that, I'm very pleased that the Privacy Commissioner is launching a formal investigation into Canadians' privacy and Facebook and online media. This is a new area in our society that we have to be very vigilant about because people's lives can be altered and damaged if the wrong information gets out.
Just a quick follow-up. When it comes to political parties, should they be more transparent about how they collect data and what they do with it and how they protect it? And should it be subject to privacy laws? And if not, why not?
Suit. You mean follow suit.
Demonstrate the kind of openness and accountability on fundraising that the Liberal Party has shown. I think it'd be very important as a first step to move towards greater transparency and openness on that. And we're always looking for ways to further improve and instill the confidence that Canadians have in our political process and our political systems and our electoral process.
Monsieur le Premier Ministre, Geneviève Normand de CBC News Radio-Canada. How comfortable are you with the idea of accepting a NAFTA agreement in principle while negotiators are still figuring out the details?
Consistently and throughout it, we have been saying that, yes, we know we're working for a win-win-win between all the three countries, but Canada will and has been and will continue to stand up for Canadian jobs and Canadian interests. We know that there is a good deal out there to be had that works for our entire continent, but we also know that we need to continue to negotiate firmly to make sure that Canadian interests are defended. So we're pleased at the amount of chapters that have been closed, at the progress that has been made on a number of issues, but we're going to keep going and demonstrate that we take this issue very seriously. We'll continue to defend Canadian jobs, but we're hopeful to get positive news in the coming times.
And as a quick follow-up in both languages again, please, when do you expect something to be announced?
As we said, we know that the NAFTA negotiation process is a long one. There are timing pressures in both Mexico and the United States around electoral calendars that are a reality. But at the same time, I've been very clear, we're going to accept a good deal for Canada, not just any old deal. And with that in mind, we continue to work hard, but I'm not going to make any predictions about what might happen.
Openness, accountability, and honesty define government transparency. In a free society, transparency is government's obligation to share information with citizens. It is at the heart of how citizens hold their public officials accountable. Well, then, by that definition, it's true. Prime Minister Zoolander and his Liberal Party have been at the peak of transparency during their time in office.
What a charade, Mr. Speaker. This Prime Minister said he would stand up every Wednesday and answer every question that's being asked of every member on this side of the House, and he failed to do it. He's been asked 5 times today, Mr. Speaker, about the Ethics Commissioner. For the sake of my colleagues, I'll ask it again. How many times? 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 And how many times has he met with the Ethics Commissioner?
Losing time here. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians expect clarity, they expect consistently, and when asked the same question, I will give the same answer. That's what Canadians expect. I will work with and answer the questions that the Ethics Commissioner and Conflict of Interest Commissioner may have.
Jaron Vecchio, Harvard Broadcasting, and yesterday Mayor of the Regional Municipality of Wood Buffalo, Don Scott, told reporters that he's open to having a pipeline summit here in the region. I don't know if this is something the federal government would bring in as well, or if you see a different way the region could be used to move forward the pipeline discussions.
Our government has been unequivocal. This pipeline is in the national interest and will get built. We had a regulatory process that went through an examination and engagement with partners, and it was determined that this Kinder Morgan pipeline expansion is in the national interest, and that's why it's going to get built. It's also a part of a broader plan that includes a national price on carbon and a significant investment in marine safety and security, because Canadians know that the environment and the economy go together. Canadians are united on that. Everyone wants to see their grandkids with both a protected natural world around them and good jobs and successful communities. That's something that we can and will work on together, regardless of the fact that some people are still trying to pretend there's a choice to be made between either the economy or the environment. The only way to do this responsibly is to do it together. And I'm happy to be here at Suncor to highlight some of the incredible technological advances that have been made over the past years, over the past couple of years, just since the last time I visited.
Well, I should hope so, considering the last time you paid your visit, the whole town had been evacuated due to a wildfire raging across the entire province. Same province which, a year later, you forgot all about in your Canada Day speech. However, we can't skip over the fact that history has finally been made. Zoolander has answered a question. My God, I wonder if that actually hurt or not.
That is demonstrating that here in the oil sands, people understand that combination between both being more energy efficient, less polluting, and better places to work at the same time as we are growing the economy and contributing significantly to the well-being not just of folks here in Alberta, but right across the country. It's a shame that there are people out there who are very much looking to polarize this debate, to pit Canadians against Canadians, a region against another. My job as a federal leader, and our job as a federal government, is to bring Canadians together.
This definition is taken from the Canadian Guide to the House of Commons. The Prime Minister is the leader of the party in power and is the head of government. The Prime Minister's duties include presiding over cabinet meetings, meeting official foreign delegations to Ottawa, and answering questions in the House of Commons. Since the Prime Minister is usually a member of Parliament, 2 Prime Ministers who held office in the 1890s were senators, he or she also spends time helping constituents.
What a charade, Mr. Speaker. This Prime Minister said he would stand up every Wednesday and answer every question that's being asked of every member on this side of the House, and he failed to do it. He's been asked 5 times today, Mr. Speaker, about the Ethics Commissioner. For the sake of my colleagues, I'll ask it again. How many times? 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 And how many times has he met with the Ethics Commissioner?
We're losing time here. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians expect clarity, they expect consistency, and when asked the same question, I will give the same answer. That's what Canadians expect. I will work with and answer the questions that the Ethics Commissioner and Conflict of Interest Commissioner may have.
Yeah, I'm not entirely convinced that Canadians expect their Prime Minister to consistently and repeatedly avoid answering questions.
And I know that we can all agree that protecting the environment for future generations and growing the economy in sustainable ways is exactly where we're all finding common ground.
Just a quick follow-up, just for clarification. Would the federal government be open to having a pipeline summit here?
Clearly, this reporter didn't receive the memo that Justin Trudeau doesn't do very well when it comes to answering questions, considering the fact that he had to, once again, ask his question in a more blunt fashion. Still didn't receive an answer, but hey, appreciate the fact that he tried.
I look forward to meeting with the mayor a little later. I met the previous mayor a number of times. Looking forward to meeting with Don and look forward to chatting with him about the extraordinary work that's been done here in the municipality of Wood Buffalo over the past difficult year of rebuilding from the terrible wildfires in which all Canadians stood together.
Actually, it's been 2 years since the fire occurred, and we've all been returned and recovered from it. And during the course of this last year, it hasn't all been recovery. The last year has been more about expansion and growth, if in my opinion. But, again, can't expect you to realize that.